afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4 on this Thursday. It's a nice day.
Beautiful stretch rolls on. When this changes, it's going to hurt.
Yes. Just copy and paste.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you need the weather today, but we'll have that coming up for you in just a bit. But first, here's what's making news today. Quentin Cephas's former roommate and UW football player Danny Davis takes the stand in court today in day 3 of the sexual assault trial. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says he will not grant a paralyzed state representative his request to call into committee meetings. We'll have more on that. And let the games begin. The CrossFit Games have started in Madison, bringing thousands of athletes and spectators to the city. It's already off to a very exciting start. Let's take a look outside today. Another sunny and warm day. Wish we could bottle these days. We're going to need them eventually. Yeah. A little warmer weekend, however. Dana Fulton's in the backyard with the sunny details.
I am. Mark said you guys didn't need me, though. That's so. Well, I guess I have the rest of the show off.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good.
We'll take it from here.
Good. I'm just going to pop a lawn chair actually out on the patio because things look really nice for us right now. Looking at our Doppler track, we of course don't have anything new moving on in. Things are going to stay fairly quiet. Nice and sunny and clear. Right now we're at about 79 in Madison, 81 in Janesville, and 83 in Prairie du Chien. So temperature-wise, hovering close to average, but it feels very comfortable outside with a light breeze. It'll stay light for us overnight and even into your Friday. Speaking of Friday, plan on more sun, and we'll start the day off back in the 50s. Afternoon highs will be just a little warmer into the lower 80s for Friday and the weekend. That warm up, though, only lasts for a few days before we cool right back on down to where we're at right now. But we'll talk about that full forecast in just a few minutes. Right now on the roads, we don't have any accidents to report. That's the good news. Here's the Beltline right at Park Street. East and westbound are both moving. Eastbound, just, of course, seeing some delays in spots, especially around that Fish Hatchery Road exit, and even on the on-ramp. Speeds are reduced quite a bit down to about 20 miles per hour right now. Around DeForest and Wanakee, you're okay. But of course, traffic will pick up around there in the next hour or so. 26 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 17 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and our drive from Sun Prairie to downtown, just a wee bit longer than usual, about 18 minutes for this evening for your commute. But you guys are right, it is really nice outside. If we could bottle these, I think it would be nice to remember them once we start hitting the stretch of December and January. Well, happy August. It's August 1st. It is.
August 1st. And we want you here. I didn't mean to say that.
That's okay.
Yeah, we're just teasing. You could go walk Penny and just leave the forecast on autopilot.
It'd be great. She could do the forecast at this point. It's so simple.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, we start with breaking news just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. A senior U.S. official says North Korea has made its second missile launch this week. The U.S. military tracked a new launch early Friday morning, North Korean time. The projectile appears to be similar to the short-range ballistic missiles fired earlier this week. The tests coincide with a series of meetings in the Thai capital of Bangkok, where U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in attendance. There is much more on this developing story at channel3000.com. UW-Madison football player Danny Davis testified in court today in the Quintez Cephas trial. The two women claim Cephas sexually assaulted them 1 year ago. Davis is also Cephas's former roommate. Jamie Perez joins us from the Dane County Courthouse with some of the new things we're learning about this case today. Jamie.
Well, when Davis took the stand today, he said that he had been drinking that night, but he said he was able to recall some of the events that transpired. Now, according to his testimony that he said in court today, he said that night when they got to their apartment after going out to some bars earlier, Cephas and 2 girls went into his room, and Davis and another girl were out in the main area of the apartment talking. Davis said Cephas was texting him to come into his room, but Davis declined. It was later that night that Davis said Cephas walked out of the room naked and asked Davis to take a picture of the girls in his room. Davis said the sound of the picture being taken woke up one of the girls, who got upset that he took it. But Davis said he removed the picture, and investigators were never able to find it after that.
As soon as I took it, I regretted it. I knew it was wrong. It was a mistake. But she heard the flash because the flash went off, and she got upset. And as soon as she came out the room and confronted me about it, I deleted it. I showed her in my recent deleted, it was deleted. I gave her my phone to show her that I didn't send it to nobody, that it was gone.
Was that taking that picture one of the dumbest things you've ever done?
Yes.
Davis also said he recalls the two girls accusing Cephas of sexual assault were walking normally their own that night, and not stumbling and being coherent when they were talking. Now, Cephas was asked if he wanted to testify today, but his attorney said that they will postpone their decision until tomorrow morning, so we'll be sure to follow up on that.
Jamie Perez reporting live. Jamie, thank you.
Madison police say they're investigating the reports of shots fired downtown. Police responded around 1:45 this morning to the 600 block of Williamson Street near the intersection of South Blair. Officers on the scene found a few shell casings in the area, but no one reported any injuries. Madison police still investigating.
Police are also investigating after a grocery store employee says they had a knife pulled on them. Madison police say an employee at the East Side Hy-Vee late last night, the employee told police a woman pulled out a knife when they were caught shoplifting. The woman got away with the goods and ran away. Police are still looking for a suspect. A state representative who is paralyzed from the chest down will not be allowed to call into committee meetings at the Capitol. Danica Lewis has the latest from Assembly Speaker this afternoon. Danica.
And that came, Mark and Susan, in the form of a letter. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos is accusing Representative Jimmy Anderson of political grandstanding in that letter, saying in the future there will be a videographer present at any committee hearing Anderson can't get to, with enough prior notice, that is. Anderson is paralyzed from the chest down and says he requires pre-scheduled transportation to get to and from meetings. He asked Speaker Vos to ban all overnight sessions and allow him to call in if necessary. Vos responded today saying when Anderson took office in 2017, a human resources manager laid out the proper way to request accommodations and that neither that office nor Vos's staff have received any requests for special arrangements for public hearings when it comes to calling in. Now, Vos also said he will propose allowing paper ballots in executive sessions, but reiterated that calling into meetings is disruptive and disrespectful in his words. Anderson did tell us he would look into filing a lawsuit against the state if Vos didn't respond. There's no word yet on whether that is still an option now that this letter has been sent.
All right, Danica Lewis, thanks for the update.
Sure.
Well, let the games begin. The 2019 CrossFit Games are officially underway at the Alliant Energy Center.
Welcome to Madison, Wisconsin.
The games bring 4 jam-packed days of competition to Madison. This year, the field expanded to include athletes from 114 countries, up from just 32 last year. Day 1 started with 148 men and 134 women, but those numbers were slashed in half to 75 athletes after the first event. And history could be made at this year's games. The reigning champ, Matt Frazier, is back, and he is hungry for his 4th title. If he gets it, he'll tie the all-time record and become the fittest man in history. So if you're looking to get out to the games, when is the best time to go?
Every day there's something different, but maybe I would start with Saturday or Friday, but there's Ragnar Relay going on, there's the expo, different stuff, demos that you can take part in.
And that all leads up to the finals on Sunday, where the fittest man and fittest woman on earth will be crowned. For a full schedule of events, times, and deals offered in town in conjunction with the games, head to our website, channel3000.com.
After 2 nights of debates from the 2020 Democratic candidates, it's President Trump's turn to speak to voters, this time with a campaign rally in Cincinnati. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
President Trump announced the U.S. will put additional tariffs on China amid ongoing trade talks. He tweeted, the U.S. will start on September 1st, putting a small additional tariff of 10% on the remaining $300 billion of goods and products coming from China into our country. The president's announcement comes as he headed off for a campaign rally in Ohio, following a Democratic debate doubleheader in Detroit.
You do nothing to hold the insurance companies to task.
You're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor.
Many of the 2020 contenders zeroed in on former Vice President Joe Biden, who returned to the trail Thursday.
Well, I expected it. And look, I hope we're going to get a chance to talk about the future of these other debates.
Senator Bernie Sanders, who took the debate stage Tuesday, told CBS News his fellow Democrats should stick to the issues instead of attacking each other.
You try to beat up on somebody else. Frankly, I don't think it's good politics.
Several of the Democratic candidates also took aim at President Trump throughout the debates.
We elected a reality TV star as our president.
I believe we have a moral obligation to beat Donald Trump.
The president tweeted the Democratic candidates were not those that will either make America great again or keep America great. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
And Democrats will take the debate stage again next month in Houston, Texas. The requirements to get into the debate are much more stringent. So far, only a handful of candidates have met those requirements. And coming up later in this hour, Charles Franklin from the Marquette University Law School poll will be here to tell us who won and who didn't so well.
Yeah. Still to come tonight at 4, it's Friday Eve, as we like to call it around here, so time to make your weekend plans.
We'll find out what's going on in the 608 this weekend when Live at 4 returns.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, it's estimated Americans receive around 150 million robocalls every day.
The Federal Communications Commission implemented new measures today in an attempt to crack down on them. But experts say it will help, but it won't put an end to those unwanted calls. The FCC approved new rules that ban spoofed text and calls that originate from outside the U.S. It's hoped that the new measures will significantly decrease the number that we get. Phone companies are expected to implement the new technology by the end of the year. It's called Stir Shaken. It requires all calls to carry an authentic digital signature, and that will ensure that the number you see in the caller ID is legitimate and not spoofed.
That would
So
be nice.
That would be very nice.
I get most of those 150 million calls every day. All right, stocks fell today after President Trump wrote in a Twitter post that the administration would be imposing 10% tariffs on $300 billion worth of Chinese imports. The Dow Industrials dropped 280 points, closing at 26,583. The NASDAQ gave up 64, and the S&P 500 fell 25. It's almost the weekend in the 608.
It's almost here. Madison Magazine Associate Editor Joel Patnaud is here with what's going on around town this weekend. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joy.
Still music festival season, even though it's August.
It is, but one of my favorites is coming up. It's the Sugar Maple Music Festival.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh, it really is. And it's everything, the musicians that are gathering at Lake Farm Park play everything from bluegrass to folk to Zydeco. What sets the fest apart, I think, from a lot of the festivals in town is that the performers actually kind of mingle with the festival goers. They have jam sessions throughout the day. They do workshops and just have open dialogue, and it's very integrated.
And some big acts.
Yes, Grammy-nominated ones, including Wood and Wire from Austin, and also they will be playing on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, Jeffrey Broussard and the Creole Cowboys will be playing. So, and there's three stages, so
sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also, a semi-annual Makers Market happening on Saturday.
Yes. Now, this is the Madison Makers Summer Market. It takes up both sides of East Washington, the 700 to 900 blocks, 75 arts and crafts vendors, and they will be set up at and between several establishments, including Giant Jones Brewery, High Noon Saloon, the Brink Lounge, Boss Meadery. So if that sounds like...
there's drinking involved.
Yeah,
okay.
That's somewhat of a pub crawl as well. But folks should they're encouraged to stroll and shop. But as far as the drinking is concerned, that's to stay within the establishments I mentioned.
Okay.
1 to 5 on Saturday?
Yep. So get there early. It's a nice early afternoon.
Yeah,
event.
it sounds nice.
Yeah. There's a fun show tonight and tomorrow night at Overture.
Yes, Grease, the Broadway musical and famous for the movie. But this is being put on in the Playhouse at the Overture Center. The Children's Theater of Madison has cast local high school students as the fictional high school students of Rydell High in the 1950s. So they'll be telling the story of Greaser Danny and the new girl Sandy and their circle of friends, which were the Pink Ladies and the Burger Palace Boys. I had to look that up.
Yeah, I think so.
Remember that, but the Pink Ladies for sure.
All right, and here's something people you don't want to miss.
Exactly. It's the Acro-Cats. And yes, I pronounced that correctly. At the Bartell Theater tomorrow night through Monday night, as seen on Animal Planet and Adult Swim.
And live at 4, we've had the Acro-Cats on.
Fantastic. But this is a troupe of highly trained house cats who ride skateboards, jump through hoops, and most impressively, play musical instruments. The band, Tuna and the Rock Cats, include felines on guitar, drums, keyboards, and horns. And if you don't believe it, then you need to show up at one of the performances.
Oh, well done.
3 nights?
It's actually
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
And Monday night.
4 nights.
Yes.
Plenty of opportunity.
So you can go more than once.
I plan to. Joel, thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Get this month's Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area. And there's more to come at 4 later on. We're going to hear from Charles Franklin about this week's Democratic debates.
And then coming up tonight at 5, there is a bipartisan bill that would create a curriculum on teen dating violence. We'll share that story coming up tonight at 5.
Take a look at this. We have some shocking video from Kentucky. Literally, Department of Fish and Wildlife personnel used electrofishing equipment to stun and collect Asian carp below a dam on Lake Barkley. Now, don't freak out. Stunning does not kill the fish, only temporarily shocks them so they can be counted or caught. But why, you ask? Asian carp are considered an invasive species, and to control the problem, officials regularly evaluate the population and deploy measures to keep them from invading sensitive areas.
Dana, you have to send this video to your husband.
I put this story
That's what he
for you.
does. That's exactly what he
you.
does. That may or may not be Jared on the boat right now, actually. Of course, anybody who lives along the Illinois or Mississippi River knows what a problem Asian carp are right now. So there is a lot of effort and a lot of money being put in to stop those.
It's just amazing how many there were.
How many there are. Even when you look at small creeks or like Black Earth Creek, which is a great trout resource, you electrofish, and the stuff that comes out, the small animals, little crawdads, little eels that pop out, it's wild what's just beneath the surface.
But it doesn't hurt them.
No, it doesn't hurt them. It stuns them temporarily. We're able to do our research, and then you just plop them back in the water.
It's unbelievable to see that. It really is.
Yes.
It's a little scary the way they all at the same time are just like out of the water.
And they're big.
They're big. They're big. They're
big.
heavy.
All right,
heavy.
good fishing weather, I guess.
Good fishing weather, especially in the mornings. It's been a little cool sometimes early in the day, and now we have some sunshine through the afternoon and evening. We're in a nice little dry spell right now as we head towards the weekend. But we'll take a look at our next opportunity for some light rain right after the break. It is sunny and delightfully pleasant outside right now. Humidity not much of a factor. Temperature sitting pretty close to average, if not just a little below. Here's a live look with our Edgewater sky cam. It seems like we've got some dust or bugs stuck up there right now. Our Doppler track is nice and quiet. Nothing new moving on in. In fact, we're going to have a dry into the work week. We'll have a little bit of rain chance coming in for late on Saturday, but not a great chance for us right now. Again, that nice blue sky has helped our temperatures stay pretty constant in the upper 70s for the last few hours. Our dew points in the low 50s, so it feels very, very comfortable. That humidity at a beautiful 38% right now. If we could keep that for the rest of the summer, that would be fantastic. We have a calm breeze, not too much of a factor when it comes to our temperatures. That high pressure has shifted just a little further east, but still keeping us mostly clear throughout the Midwest. Our next chance for showers is actually starting to develop well off into the northern edge of the plains. Not even really getting into our scope just yet, but by the time we get into late on Saturday, we will see a slight chance for some showers starting to develop. We're sitting close to 79 right now in Madison and Dubuque, 84 in La Crosse, so everybody in a pretty comfortable spot. No big temperature divides throughout the plains of the Midwest currently. Compared to this time yesterday, very similar spots, just maybe plus a degree or two for some areas. But Madison, we were in the same spot where we were at yesterday afternoon. Dew points in the low 50s in most of southern Wisconsin. It starts to increase just a little bit the further west you go. But overall, still a very comfortable afternoon, stretching from Platteville all the way up through Fond du Lac. Now, for Friday, plan on starting the day off mostly clear. It'll be pretty clear and comfortable overnight. And then by Friday afternoon, we're still nice and sunny outside. Saturday, we'll start the day off with some sun, but overall, just a partly sunny day as our chance for showers will start to develop later in the afternoon and evening. Right now, it just looks like a slight chance for some isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, but really no severe potential to factor in. And we aren't expecting a major rain accumulating event. That's, of course, the good news. Our precipitation totals, if we could get those to load, just hovering around a few hundredths of an inch, if that, for southern Wisconsin. So we aren't going to pick up much rain with those shower chances on Saturday. Again, overnight, mostly clear. Our breeze is coming from the northeast overnight, and then by Friday, we're expecting our temperatures in the afternoon with that light breeze to climb to the mid to low 80s. So we'll be just a little warmer outside on Friday, and that trend, of course, kind of carries us into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday also just a little warmer than today, and also just a little more humid outside. In the morning, we have some sun. The cloud coverage will steadily increase in the afternoon, and then we have that slight chance for some isolated showers or thunderstorms. As you can see, the entire area is not going to be covered, and there are going to be some corners that don't see any rain on Saturday, but it's just going to be a good day to keep an eye to the sky. Understand that you may have a quick passing shower or thunderstorm, and then things, of course, clearing out later in the evening heading into Sunday. In Madison, we're looking at an overnight low of about 58. Again, a mostly clear sky and comfortable. A very light breeze overnight tomorrow, easterly flow, but still staying in the single digits for our wind speeds. So it stays light, it stays calm. That wind, thankfully, not much of a factor. 83 the high for tomorrow. It's mostly sunny and just a little warmer than today, but so very, very pleasant outside, and no big jump in our humidity, just a small increase. So we're in the low 80s, mid to low 80s on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we have partly sunny skies with that slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms late in the day on Saturday. Temperatures for the weekend, keep them in the low 80s. It will be just a little more humid outside, though. We have a chance for some thunderstorms developing, now pushing into Monday night as opposed to all day on Monday. Those might linger into Tuesday with a slight thunderstorm chance. But behind that chance, our temperatures back off just a little bit again. We're back to the upper 70s. So the middle of next week looking quite similar to today. In fact, the entire 10-day forecast, really everyone in the same boat as far as no big jumps or big drops with our temperatures, and we don't have any big systems sliding in right now, just a few light rain chances developing again for Saturday, and then not until we get into late on Monday.
And the average high is starting to go down a little bit.
It is starting to go down. Our daylight hours are getting significantly shorter. I actually one of our engineers just met me outside for my porch shot because the sun's starting to hit my eyes at a different angle now. So the sun's getting lower at that 4 o'clock hour.
And I saw my first pumpkin flavored thing this week.
You?
I did. So that's too soon.
It's too soon.
No.
It's still August.
No pumpkin yet.
All right.
No.
Thank you, Dana.
An emotional reunion in Minneapolis after one family's tragedy gives life to another.
The mother of a little boy who died too soon got to hear his heartbeat again in the chest of the little girl who received it as a donation. Bill Hudson reports.
Anxiety and fears ended the very moment these two strong families met.
Walked into the room and immediately just broke down and cried.
For the very first time, Brooke Eaton heard her son's heartbeat in the little girl whose life it saved. 2-year-old Cash Landers drowned in a pool accident. Lola Bond was born with a faulty heart. Last September, the unselfish gift of hope became Lola's miracle. Medical staff at the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital wrapped it up with a bow.
So to see a reunion like this today is just amazing. It brings a tear to your eye.
For the first time since the heart transplant, the families met privately, then spoke of how one child's life spared others.
As soon as I saw her, I fell in love with her. She's just precious. And as my boy, I heard his heartbeat, and that really just, it's beautiful.
By cuddling little Lola, Brooke now holds her son once again. Born of utter heartbreak, grows an unbreakable bond.
You know, to have a connection with your baby still. Just like me and Lola, we're gonna have a connection for the rest of our life.
Knowing that there's a whole nother family out there that loves her as much as we do is amazing.
What forged out of sorrow now brings the sound of joy.
Oh, that's incredible, isn't it?
It's an incredible
And
story.
those families will be
It really is.
connected now for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
When we come back, we're heading to North Dakota for an art exhibit of all things.
But it's more than it sounds. It's called the Enchanted Highway. We'll check it out when Live at 4 continues. There's a live look at Lake Mendota just off the Union on this Thursday afternoon. Later in the day, it's pretty how the sun glistens on the water.
It's like there's a ring around all the boats.
Yeah, that's the place to be today. Along one stretch of road in North Dakota sits what you might call an outdoor folk art gallery.
The incredible sculptures and works of art were created by just one man. Jamie Wax, that is, shares the story behind what's being called the Enchanted Highway.
On an unnamed highway in southwest North Dakota, where lush green plains roll up to the sky, the unexpected appears over the horizon. Soaring scrap metal sculptures nestled on the roadside. This is the Enchanted Highway.
This is fabulous that this guy came up with this idea to save this part of North Dakota. I think this is wonderful.
This guy is 70-year-old Gary Greff.
So glad to meet you.
A self-taught scrap metal sculptor.
See, I wanted each sculpture, each site, to be a picture. Like you're driving into a picture frame. And when you get into it, you go, wow, that's completely different than the other one.
7 works dot this 32-mile stretch of the Enchanted Highway. According to Guinness, Geese in Flight is the largest scrap metal sculpture in the world. Greff draws inspiration from local wildlife and historical figures. Driving this road, you'll see pheasants on the prairie, fisherman's dream, and President Roosevelt on a bucking horse in Teddy Rides Again. Greff began work on his first, the Tin Family, in 1989.
1989 was the year Field of Dreams came out as a movie.
If you build it, he will come.
Was that at all any inspiration for this? If you build it, they will come? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Field of Dreams, you're right. I saw the movie and I go, okay, yeah, if they build it, well, you know, they will come. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Greff was hoping people would come to his hometown.
All right, so here we are in Regent.
A genuine blink and you'll miss it kind of place. He wanted tourists to follow the path of the sculptures into Regent. About 6,000 cars do each year. He opened a gift shop and turned the former high school into a 19-room medieval-themed hotel. But not everybody in town has bought into Greff's vision.
Well, the landowners aren't being real cooperative right now.
To build, Greff needs about an acre of donated property.
There's a couple of them that run me off their place.
Because they see you coming.
Yeah, they won't even, they don't want a sculpture. Oh, I don't want a sculpture. Get the heck out of here. One guy threatened, I'll shoot you if you don't get off my place. I go, okay, I'm out of here. The town's mentality is they've been a farming community for 100 years. Well, that's great, but you've gone from a town of 400 to a town of 100. Now that tells you something's got to change. See over here. This is what I came up with to help them out. Now you guys got to take it and run with it, but I haven't seen any running yet.
So while Greff waits for the people of Regent to come around, he keeps on building with designs for at least 3 more sculptures.
I want these to be a legacy for North Dakota, a legacy for Regent. I don't care about me. I mean, I wanted people to say, if he can do something like this, God dang it, maybe I can do something. You can do whatever you put your mind to it. Just do it.
The North Dakota legislature voted earlier this year to allocate funds to assist Greff in the maintenance of the sculptures along the Enchanted Highway. For nearly 30 years before that, Greff used his own money and donations to maintain the sculptures. Jamie Wax, CBS News, New York.
Might be worth our trip sometime.
Makes you want to take a drive, doesn't it?
Really does. Yeah, kind of cool. Well, when Live at 4 continues, the second round of the Democratic presidential debates is in the books.
Marquette University's law school poll director Charles Franklin is here. We'll talk about the winners and losers after 2 nights of debates when Live at 4 continues.
No accidents to report right now as far as speeds are concerned along the Beltline eastbound side. You can see there delays, starting with the left lane and then scooting on right. But the westbound side seems to be moving along just fine. Throughout Dane County, most of the side roads looking okay right now. But again, those Beltline speeds reduced quite a bit if you're getting closer to Gammon. The Gammon Road exit, we're at about 63 miles per hour, so in a good place. But the closer you get to Fish Hatchery Road, those speeds get reduced quite a bit, down to about 20 miles per hour. Around DeForest, all looks good. Wanakee, some slowdowns there on 113, but traffic is at least moving. To get from Janesville to the Beltline will take you just about 26 minutes this evening. 16 minutes from Sauk City to Middleton, and then from Sun Prairie to downtown should be about an 18-minute commute. That's a quick look at traffic.
Dana, thank you. Surgeons in India successfully removed 526 teeth from the, just take it easy, Dana, to the jaw of a 7-year-old boy. The child had experienced swelling for years. X-rays revealed a mass containing hundreds of miniature teeth. It took surgeons 5 hours to remove each and every one. Each fragment resembled a tiny tooth with a crown and a root-like structure. Doctors say this is the first case like this ever documented worldwide.
So they'll learn a lot from it.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, isn't that something? I've never seen an X-ray like that.
No, it's a lot of teeth. Well, the second Democratic presidential debate is history.
After 2 nights of debates in Detroit, what are the takeaways and where do things go from here? The director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, is back with us. Hi, Charles. Good to see you.
The first takeaway is I'm going to be trying for weeks to unsee that X-ray. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
All right, so.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's start on Tuesday night.
Yes.
The Warren-Sanders crowd.
I think that what Tuesday night especially had, because it had both Warren and Sanders, was a pretty vivid display of the most progressive side of the party speaking its positions. Warren and Sanders didn't so much go after each other as they reinforced each other. They were sort of peas in a pod on immigration, but especially on health care and other issues, while their critics on the panel, for the most part, not all of them, but were raising questions of, isn't this things that you can't accomplish? Isn't this fantasies that you would like to see but don't really have a way to reach? And that debate, I think, is really at the center of the party in one sense right now. Warren had the great line, you know, why run for president if you're not going to be for something? And that represents this idea that running for president is to change the public's positions on things and move them in new directions. It's a heavy lift, but I think both Warren and Sanders really exemplified that on Tuesday night.
Did anyone else on Tuesday night break out, in your opinion?
I don't think so. Looking at not just the debate itself, but the after-debate commentary, which plays a big role in shaping these things, it seemed like most people thought Buttigieg had an okay night, but no one really had a breakout moment. Williamson is getting some mentions occasionally for some of the moments that she had.
She was the most Googled person after the debate.
Exactly, and that goes to sort of the media personality, the internet personality, as her, I don't want to say role in the debates, but it was part of that. And as someone to challenge some of the more moderates and say, well, why are you even calling yourselves Democrats at one point?
All right, on to Wednesday, Joe Biden, the front runner, he had everything to lose.
He did, and after a shaky first debate, again, most of the reviews are saying everything from adequate to pretty good. I haven't seen anybody think he really hurt himself, but I haven't seen anybody think that he really blew it out either. So a good, solid night for him with some flaws. But he's the opposite of the Warren-Sanders approach, saying, I represent the stability of the party, defending Barack Obama's record when it somewhat surprisingly came under either direct or indirect criticism from others, and playing to the fact that he's in first place. After the first debate, he fell off from in the mid-30s in the national polling to the upper 20s, while Harris jumped up to basically a tie, a three-way tie for second place at about 15%. Harris has now fallen back off to only about 11 and solidly fourth place, while Biden has moved back up into the 30s. So there were big impacts right after the first debate, but they've both now kind of disappeared, and that's the stage that was set when we went into last night between Harris and Biden in particular.
Are we getting to the point where some of these lower candidates are going to drop off?
I would expect so, but crystal ball a little cloudy. The biggest issue is we go into the September debates, and at the moment only 7 candidates have qualified for those debates based on polling and fundraising and things like that. One assumes that a few more will make it into those September debates, but I don't think we're going to see nearly as many people as we saw, certainly, 10 at a time, 20 people altogether. So I do think we'll see some drop off as we go forward.
What about people like Tulsi Gabbard, who had a good night last
That's
night?
right.
That's most of the pundits thought.
Also attention getting. She's someone who has consistently been down in the 1 or 2% range in polling. But like Williamson the night before, she had this sort of moments that got people's attention. Whether all of these people could in principle sustain campaigns for a while, even if they're not on the debate stage in September. But failing to make that debate stage is a pretty difficult mountain to get over if you're still saying, look, I'm relevant, but I'm not getting a chance to go toe-to-toe with the top 5, say, in the debate.
And fewer people on stage, you're going to get a little more substance out of it because you don't have time.
And for the first time, we'll have Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden on the same stage at the same time. That's one of the things that the peculiar split format has done, is prevented it's just 2 debates, but it's prevented those 2 from going head-to-head, and that will surely change in September.
Stay tuned, as they say.
As they say, we've still got a ways to go.
We do.
We'll be seeing a lot more of you, though, Charles, and we're looking forward to that.
I look forward to it, too.
Thanks for being here. We'll be right back with a final check of your weather.
We'll back. 3, 2, 1.
Another nice evening.
It is really nice outside right now. It's sunny, it feels good. We don't have a lot of humidity to factor in, and not much of a breeze either, a nice little calm breeze. Here's a live look in Platteville. Nice blue sky. Everything's looking green on the ground. Doppler track is going to stay quiet for us overnight, and temperature-wise, we'll be close to 80 for the next few hours. About 82 in Janesville, 84 in Mineral Point right now. Again, that breeze is going to stay calm. Plan on a very nice Friday. We'll be back in the low 80s for afternoon highs with mostly sunny skies. So I think Susan nailed it earlier. If you could bottle up this weather and just keep it, that'd be great.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dana. We'll be right back.
In today's Final Touch, the Rio Hotel in Las Vegas is the center of the universe this weekend.
That is, if you're a Star Trek fan.